Welcome to my series, Kitchen Basics 101, where I just teach bare bones Kitchen 101 basics. So these are acorn squash. And I'm sure if you've seen them in the grocery store and you've never cooked before, you're like, I'm not gonna cook that. But I wanna tell you, they're super delicious. I know butternut squash gets a lot of play, but my personal favorite is the acorn squash. So we're just gonna do the most simple, basic roast on this acorn squash and get you comfortable, because that's the point of this series. Just get you comfortable in the kitchen, get you comfortable with ingredients, and just from a mom. I'm not a professionally trained chef. I'm just somebody's mom. I can only share with you the way that I've always done it. Is there other ways? Yes. Is there a million recipes you can probably find on TikTok? Yes. And I encourage you to go find those. But I'm going to show you how I do it, and this is how I've always done it. First of all, I think this is a kitchen essential, and I'm going to do a TikTok just about kitchen essentials. But I think that a chef's knife is really the only tool you need in the kitchen. You can do almost anything other than maybe peeling or deboning a fish with this knife. So I love it. This is a 7-inch chef's knife. It's heavy. It's very weighted, okay? We're gonna do that, okay? We're gonna just cut this end off. Now these squash, they're thick, so it's a little bit of a challenge. This is what it's going to look like when you cut that stem off, right? So now you can lay it on its flat surface. This is just a basic cutting technique for safety. Then we're just going to split it down the middle, okay? And I want you to notice, I'm not putting my hand anywhere where it can get cut. Okay, now we're going to scoop the seeds out. Now you could have a trash bowl, or you could scoop them into a trash can, or whatever you like. I'm just using a spoon that's fairly thin, so I can get under there. You're just gonna pull the seeds out, okay? Scrape them out like that. I'll use a 13x9 baking sheet, but in the interest of you only have one tool, if you only have one tool in your house and it's a cookie sheet, that's great, okay? This is just a giant cookie sheet. I'm gonna cover it with some parchment paper, and I'm going to put these cut side down onto the paper, just as they are, cut side down, okay? Now I'm gonna put a little bit of water onto this tray, and I'm gonna bake them for a little while like this before I season them and before I add any of my flavorings, to get them tender but to keep them moist. Now that they've roasted for a while and they've gotten a little bit tender and steamy, we're gonna use tongs for safety, and we're gonna flip them over on their backs like this. In my world, there's no such thing as too much butter, so I put a whack of butter and like a scoop of brown sugar. Roast them for another 20-ish minutes. You're just gonna check to make sure that they are fork tender, which they are. And then I just scrape this into this yummy pool of brown sugar and butter and eat it right out of this vessel. It's in its own bowl, already ready to go. And it is delicious.